Before we jump into today's story, drop a quick comment to say hi. Tell me your name, where you're watching from, and let me know if you're sticking around till the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. All right, let's get into the story. I should never have taken that exit. That's where this begins, or at least that's where I can still point and say it was normal up until then. I was driving through western Pennsylvania, somewhere between Erie and Pittsburgh, when the fog appeared. It wasn't the kind of fog you see rolling in off a lake or slithering between Appalachian valleys. This was a wall, a thick gray smear that swallowed everything. The asphalt ahead dissolved into it. The taillights of the pickup in front of me blinked once, then were gone. Friends, you enjoy listening to stories, but you don't subscribe to the channel or like the videos? I request you to please subscribe to the channel right now so that I get more motivation to bring you even more stories. If you help me reach 1,000 subscribers, I promise to bring you extremely scary stories with a truly real feel. 2 horror stories every single day. So go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and now let's move on to today's story. I slowed down, you would have too, and then the GPS on my dash froze. It didn't lose signal, it froze. The little blue arrow stopped on an unnamed section of road, the screen grainy like an old VHS tape. Then it blinked and recalibrated, giving me a new route. Exit 29, Witherston Road. I don't remember seeing that exit before, but the fog was pressing in all around like a curtain, and the strangest part was the silence. Driving in fog, you still hear rain, tires on wet road, wind against glass. But here, nothing. It was as if the car was floating in a vacuum. So I took the exit, and that was the biggest mistake of my life. Witherston Road stretched like a scar through naked fields, no street lamps, no neon signs, no gas stations. My headlights dug trenches through the gray, but beyond that, only shapeless shadows. The road narrowed, cracked asphalt giving way to patched gravel. My GPS kept insisting, continue for 2 miles. At the end of those 2 miles stood the house. It was massive, a colonial-style structure perched back from the road, black shutters dangling loose, the porch sagging like a broken jaw. Every other property I had passed was either abandoned or flattened, but this house stood waiting. I can't explain why I turned into the driveway. My tank was still half full. I didn't need to stop, but something in the air, or maybe in the silence, suggested the road wasn't going to let me keep driving. As I got out, the fog pulled back slightly, framing the house as though it wanted me to see it clearly. Boards creaked, shutters knocked. A faint yellow light pressed against a second-story window, gone before I could focus. I should have left then. I know that now. The front door was unlocked. When I pushed it open, the hinges groaned like a voice straining to speak. Inside smelled faintly of mold, but not ruin. Furniture was dust-streaked yet intact, as if the occupants had left quickly, but not long ago. An oil painting of a family hung in the hall, husband in a brown wool suit, wife in ruffled dress, 2 children frozen in an expression between laughter and scream. At first glance, it looked like any antique portrait from the 1800s, but the longer I stared, the more I noticed details that vibrated wrong. The way the children's hands seemed too long, the strained whiteness of the wife's eyes. I told myself exhaustion was warping my perception. I needed rest. When I stepped into what must have been the living room, my throat tightened. The house had settled cold, breath cloud white drifting in front of me. The couch sagged under its velvet blanket of dust, the brick fireplace yawning dark as a cave. And yet, there was a glass of water sitting on the mantel, clear, fresh. Beads of condensation still slicking its surface. Someone had been here, recently. I didn't drink it. Instead, I tried the back door, locked. The windows wouldn't lift either, their frames swollen shut. My phone was still dead, GPS black as though the thing had burned out completely. No service, no map, no way back to the highway. I stayed. That was night one inside the house on Witherston Road. I didn't sleep. Or, I don't think I did. It's hard to measure time here. Somewhere around what I thought was 2 a.m., I heard it. Whispers moving along the walls like spiders. They weren't words exactly, more like a dry air slipping through teeth. Still, their intent was clear. Something wanted me awake. I sat up on the dust-rotten couch with my eyes fixed on the staircase. The mahogany banister gleamed faintly in the gray light that leaked through cracks. Step by step, the sound moved down. Not boots, not shoes, but bare, padded feet, soft as cotton against wood.
When the figure reached the bottom, I realized I couldn't move. It was a child, at least shaped like one. A boy about 7, his skin stretched tight, sallow, gray in some places like wet newspaper. His hair clung in dripping strands, though I hadn't heard rain. His eyes, no, his eye sockets were empty. And he smiled like he had been waiting years for me. When he opened his mouth, the whispers grew louder. The house swelled with them, flooding into my ears, drilling past bones straight into thoughts. Stay, stay, stay. I don't remember standing. I don't remember running. I just know that when the sky outside adjusted, faint hints of dawn piercing the fog, I was upstairs in the far bedroom. The door slammed shut behind me, knuckles bloodied from beating against the wood. But I was alive, at least for now. Time here doesn't move normally. The sun doesn't rise fully. The fog never leaves. My watch has stopped. I eat what little I had in my backpack. Protein bars, gum, a half bottle of Powerade. No hunger yet, though days must have passed. At night, I hear them. Children, maybe. Their padded feet in the halls. Sometimes laughter, slurred like a broken record. Once a hollow woman's voice humming through the vents. Rockabye, rockabye, until it cracked into raw static noise. Every window I've tried shows the same thing, that choking fog, thicker and alive. I pressed my palm once against the glass and swore I felt it press back. There's something in the basement. I know because it wants me to know. The door rattles sometimes, as if something breathes right against it. A smell seeps up the stairs, rotting wood mixed with something metallic, like pennies clenched in a child's toothed grin. On what I think was the 4th night, the basement door creaked open an inch by itself. A draft climbed the stairs carrying whispers clearer than ever. He's one of us now. I slammed it shut, but I know eventually I'll be made to open it. The painting in the hall has changed. At first, the details only flickered. The father's face hollowing, the children widening their grins. Last night, I realized with certainty The boy in the portrait is the same eyeless thing I saw on the stairs. And the parents, when I dared strike a match and look closely, it was my face replacing the father's. Not complete, but half-formed, sliding beneath layers of oil like wet paint shifting to reveal what's buried. I think the house is trying to write me into its story. Or worse, finish a story it started long ago. I don't know how long I resisted. Days, weeks, time is meaningless. But tonight, I am writing this with filthy nails, shaking hands, and I know I'm going down. The door has been open since dusk. The children are waiting. I hear them breathing with anticipation, their soft feet pattering just out of sight. The woman is singing. The fog presses against every window like an audience leaned forward for the final act. And the basement yawns below, wide as a mouth, darker than anything I've ever imagined. They've been patient. They want me to meet them. And I think I don't have the strength to resist anymore. This house is real. Witherston Road exists. I don't know if it shows up on maps, but it's there, between places, waiting for the next traveler who takes the wrong exit. If you find this, know that I went into the basement. Know that whatever happens to me, whatever I become, I've already been erased from the world outside. The portrait will be complete soon. The fog will claim another. And then, perhaps, the road will open for you.
The door unlocks for me before he even reaches the porch. "Evening," he says, giving me a careful nod. "Truck broke down a mile back. Saw the place from the road. You got a phone?" My throat wants to say yes, come in. My heart wants to say no, leave now and never look back. What comes out is something between. "You won't get service here," I mutter, "but you can rest. Safe from the fog." That word slips out every time. Safe. It isn't true, but the house loves when we say it. He steps inside, and the house sighs. The hunter isn't like the girl. He doesn't fidget or tremble. He observes. His boots drag mud across the wood. His eyes linger on the portrait even longer than mine used to. "Hell of a paintin'," he mutters. "Looks alive." I swallow hard. The children in the picture twitch faintly, eyes flickering toward him. He doesn't notice. Not yet. He drops his bag near the couch, pulls a flashlight from his vest pocket, points it into the hallway. Every step he takes, the whispers grow sharper in my skull. The house doesn't like hesitation. The house doesn't like patience. The house wants him down in the basement. That night, the house makes a mistake. When the whispers rise, when the footsteps begin, the hunter's face doesn't go pale. He doesn't cower or beg. He pulls something cold and metallic from his vest. A gun. The sound of the hammer clicking back cuts through the whispers like a clean blade. "Who's there?" he growls into the stairwell. "Show yourself." The children laugh from above. The woman's lullaby crawls faint through the vents. He doesn't back down. He takes a step toward the staircase. And for the first time since I've been trapped here, I wonder what would happen if someone fought back. The house pushes at me, stronger than ever, its will folding into mine, demanding I distract him, weaken him, guide him. My mouth opens, ready to lie. "There's nothing here, you're imagining it." But another part of me, buried deep beneath the fog, screams, "Help him. If he breaks it, if he fights, maybe you can be free too." Two voices, one throat. One part of me a host, the other still human. And in the hunter's flaring flashlight beam, I see his suspicion. He knows I am not fully myself. The portrait ripples. New space opens, frame stretching wider as if it already expects to hold him. The painted children grin, oily mouths dripping black. The house demands obedience. The whispers scrape blood against my skull. Lure him, bind him, sit him in the chair. But then the hunter turns, eyes sharp as knives, the gun steady in his hand. "You're part of it, ain't you?" he says, not a question, a certainty. I don't answer. I can't. My skin burns with pressure from the house, forcing silence into my throat. The basement door rattles violently. The song rises. The house is impatient. And I know the moment is close. Either he will join the wall, or he will break what none of us ever could. The basement door doesn't just rattle this time. It slams against its frame, each strike like a heartbeat shaking the floorboards. The walls shiver, portrait frames buzzing on their nails. The house wants him down there now. The whispers are no longer whispers, they're screams filling my head. Take him, take him, take him. The hunter doesn't flinch. His jaw sets like stone as he raises the gun toward the basement door. "What the hell are you hiding in there?" And for a moment, just a breath, the house falls silent, almost as though it's listening, uncertain. I want to say, "Don't go in." I want to say, "Leave now, never look back." But what comes out isn't mine. They're waiting for you. My voice, and yet not mine. The tone is wrong, too soft, too patient. The hunter's eyes narrow. He aims at me now. "You're not right," he murmurs. And he's right. I feel my body twitching in jerks, lips smiling when I don't want them to, eyes watering with black tears. The house is finishing its work on me. But some sliver of me is still fighting, bleeding against its grip, and in that corner of myself, a thought burns bright. He could end it. The basement door blasts open before either of us move. Children, dozens of them, flooding up the stairs like puppets dragged by tangled cords. Their eyeless sockets glimmer wet and dark, their mouths snapping open and shut in broken laughter. The hunter doesn't hesitate. He fires. The first shot cracks through one of them. Its head jerks sideways, ichor spraying the hallway wall. But the child doesn't fall. It just twitches, smile spreading farther, a hollow giggle rattling out. More are crawling now, hands dragging across the floor like spiders, teeth gnashing as they swarm closer. The hunter fires again, another and another, the blast deafening in the narrow hall. Some collapse, some crawl still, unstoppable. The air fills with the sharp metallic sting of gunpowder mixed with rot. Then, she arrives. The woman in the nightgown drifts up the stairs, fingers gliding across the walls, nails cutting trails through paint and plaster. Her face splits in that too wide smile, lips torn and bleeding. Her lullaby gurgles past her throat, warbling high, then low, then shrieking. The hunter staggers back, not from fear, from rage. His voice shakes as he growls, "What in God's name are you?" She cocks her head, smile dripping, and whispers a single word that hits me like a hammer inside my skull. "Forever."
The children swarm him. The hunter fights, choking one off, kicking another down the stairs. But the swarm doesn't end. And then he looks at me. "Help me!" he shouts, rage and desperation clashing in his eyes. "If there's anything left of you, help me!" I freeze. The house crushes into me, whispering, burning. "No, he is ours. He belongs to the portrait." But that human fragment of me, the piece that still remembers the highway, the fog, the glass of untouched water upstairs, screams back. In that instant, something breaks loose inside me. I lunge forward, not at the hunter, but at the children swarming his feet. My hands, still not fully mined, tear them free, black ichor coating my skin. I slam one against the wall, hurl another back down the stairs. They shriek, not in pain, but in anger. The house wails, beams moaning overhead, paint peeling in fresh strips. The woman's smile cracks wide, her eyes darken to pits. "You betray us," she whispers, and I laugh through blood-stained teeth. "Maybe I do." The hunter seizes the moment. He empties the rest of his clip into the swarm, boot crashing against the woman's chest, sending her reeling down a step. She doesn't bleed properly, just spills inky, seething liquid. The portrait rattles against the wall, faces smearing into panic. The fog outside slams against the glass, furious. The whole house tilts, groaning like a sinking ship. I know this can't last, but for the first time since I set foot here, the house is losing. The house bends and groans like it's alive and angry. Walls ripple with wet cracks, wood splits underfoot, and the stink of rot doubles in strength until it burns the throat. The hunter reloads with shaking but steady hands. I grip the wall, smeared in that black ichor from the children. My veins still buzz with the whispers, but something about choosing against the house makes them weaker, like static fading out. The woman snarls from the bottom of the staircase. The sound is no song this time. It's an animal sound, guttural and long. She staggers back from the last bullet to her chest, her body knitting together like tar melting back into shape. "You cannot leave," she hisses. "You are written here." The hunter grabs my arm hard. His voice is shaking, not afraid, but demanding, like survival itself. "Where's the source?" he asks. "All things like this got a source. Where?" The house hears him. Its screams echo down the walls. The portrait frames shake harder, faces smearing and reforming desperately. My voice is not fully my own when I answer, but it spills out anyway. "The heart, below, in the earth." The basement, of course. The hunter nods once. He chambers around. Then we go down. The stairs groan beneath us. This time, the children don't play. They wait. They line the dirt floor in rows, eyeless, grinning, bodies twitching with hunger. But none of them move forward. They only hum low, a unified drone that vibrates in my molars. And in the center of the dirt floor, where the chair once stood, something else has grown. The earth bulges upward, heaving like a chest. Roots run through it like veins, pulsing black, moist with slime. Every beat it gives off shakes the house above us, the heart. The hunter steadies his gun. "That it?" he asks. I nod. My throat burns with every word, but I force it out. "Yes, that's it." The children break their silence all at once. They scream, not playful now, not whispering, just raw, violent rage. They hurl themselves forward, arms flailing, clawing. The hunter fires shot after shot, each blast hurling one back in a spray of black ichor. I grab a rusted pipe from the wall and swing until my arms burn, breaking brittle limbs, smashing grinning faces. The woman comes last, rising from the circle of children, her form unraveling into something larger. Her jaw splits wider, down through her neck, her arms stretching long as roots. She surges forward, shrieking. The hunter locks his aim on the pulsing mound. "Cover me!" he roars. He charges for the heart, boots sinking knee-deep in mud and rot. The children swarm him, clinging to his limbs. I tear at them with my pipe, ripping their cold fingers from his arms, while others claw down my back. The whispers come sharper. "No, no, no!" The house itself begins to collapse, rafters falling, dirt showering us from above. The hunter shoves his shotgun directly against the heart. His last words, "Rot in hell!" He fires. The heart explodes in a wave of putrid black fluid. The blast knocks us both backward, tumbling through mud and bone shards. The children shriek as if stabbed, and one by one they crumple, limbs slack, jaws wide. Their voices gutter out into silence. The woman lets out a scream so piercing it feels like my skull splits in half, then collapses in on herself, bones snapping until nothing remains but black smoke sucked into the soil. The fog outside the windows shrieks, pulling itself back, unraveling, ripped to shreds by an invisible tide. For the first time, I see beyond its walls. I see sky. I see night. I see stars. The house groans long and final. Then everything comes down. I don't remember how long I was buried. Wood, dirt, rot crushing me, choking me. When I finally clawed upward, stars still burned above. The fog was gone. The house was no more. The hunter crawled free beside me, covered in slime, coughing blood, but alive. He looked at me in the starlight and nodded once, jaw tight. "You helped me," he said. And I realized the whispers were silent. My head was my own. For the first time in forever. When we stumbled to the edge of the ruined foundation, the highway was there. Headlights shone in the distance. The world was real again. But behind us, in that pit of mud and black blood, something pulsed faintly, just once. The hunter saw it too. He loaded the last shell he had, stared into the darkness a long while, then turned his back. "Best to keep moving," he said. And I followed him onto the open road, trembling with every step. But even now, a thought gnaws. Houses don't stay dead. Houses rebuild, and Witherston Road waits. The hunter and I walked until dawn. The air was crisp, sharp with pine and dirt, free of the heavy copper tang of the house. Every breath felt almost holy, like inhaling freedom. And yet silence never felt so loud, because underneath it, faint, almost imagined, I swore I still heard them, the children, quiet, like echoes caught in my bloodstream. The hunter must have felt it too. His steps were heavy, his shoulders tense, his eyes scanning shadows between trees, even though there was nothing there. "We got out," I whispered, half to him, half to myself. He didn't look at me when he muttered, "For now." By the second day on the road, I noticed them. Black streaks under my fingernails that washing wouldn't clean, bruises across my chest shaped like hands, and sometimes, when I'd close my eyes too long, I'd see the portrait.
No longer finished, no longer glowing, just hanging in the dark, waiting. And I'd see my face still painted into it, faint, half smudged but not gone. The house may be gone, but its record remains. That night by the roadside fire, the hunter told me something. "This wasn't my first time," he said, staring into flames. "What do you mean?" I asked. He tapped his vest pocket where a small leather notebook bulged. "I've been chasing stories like that house for 20 years. Old churches that hum when no one's inside. Roads where the streetlights watch you back. It's never the same shape, but the hunger's the same, always." He looked at me then, grim eyes hollow with too many nights like this. "You don't walk away clean, you carry it, and sooner or later, it finds another place to grow." By the third day on the road, we reached a gas station, real, buzzing with neon, the smell of grease and fuel thick in the air. I wanted to collapse with relief. The hunter didn't. He looked at the road signs, the cars passing, normal people buying sodas inside, and shook his head. "This isn't the end," he muttered. "You destroyed the heart," I said. He gave a hollow laugh. "Ever cut weeds? They grow back stronger." That night, I dreamed of Witherston Road, of the fog rebuilding itself, curling out across fresh stretches of highway, of the portrait stretching itself new space, my faded figure sharpening again, smiling wider. And when I woke, my throat was raw, because I'd been whispering in my sleep, just like the house taught me.
"The hunter is gone now, slipped off before dawn, leaving only his notebook by my side. I think he means for me to use it, to track, to fight, to keep running like he's been running. But when I flip the pages, I see sketches of houses scrawled in nervous pen lines, trees with eyes hidden in their bark, roads with no end, notes like, 'They don't die, they only feed.' The whispers are louder when I read them. I think maybe he wasn't just hunting. I think maybe he was infected too, just further along. So here it is. The truth I can't run from. The house didn't fall. Not really. It scattered. Into me. Into him. Into the ground where its heart burst. Into the fog that folded back but waits. I am not free. I am only a carrier. And someday, someone else will drive a lonely road, GPS hissing, eyes half blinded by fog, and they'll find another house. Maybe smaller, maybe grander, but waiting, always waiting. And when the door opens, there I'll be, either in person or painted on the wall, smiling. I've written all I can. Maybe it was to warn you. Maybe it was to confess. Maybe the house still guides my hand even now. But understand this. The Witherston house no longer stands, yet it is not truly gone. Places like it don't end. They scatter, travel, embed themselves in the cracks of lonely roads and forgotten exits. I escaped the ruins. I walk under open sky again. And yet, every reflection, every stretch of mist at dawn carries its echo. I still hear the whispers when the world falls quiet. I still see the portrait in the dark behind my eyes. And sometimes, when headlights slice through midnight fog, my lips curled into a smile I can't control. So if you're driving through Pennsylvania, or anywhere really, and your GPS blinks, if an exit appears you never noticed before, if the fog is thicker than it should be, don't stop, don't turn, don't go down that road, because I'm not sure I could keep myself from opening the door. And if you see me there, you're already too late.